Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 months hiatus from YouTube, I am back with a new video. My first time trying acid. Fuck the intro. Let's get right into this story time. So, this whole story time starts out on a beautiful gray winter morning in my hometown. At this time, I had moved from the center of my hometown to the south side of my hometown. This is an area that is a little bit more wealthy where I come from, and definitely a huge culture difference compared to the people I met down where I grew up. Nonetheless, I had been starting to go to a new high school, and by this time I had already had plugs on lock. See, at my old high school, there were a lot more druggies, specifically bartards, and I made friends with these people. I made friends with these people very easily because, well, I was also a bartard. So after I had moved, I had still had the plugs that I had gained at my old high school. So upon moving, I just raged as hard as I was doing before. It's not like one of those situations where you move and suddenly, oh, you don't have any plugs anymore, so now you're fiending every minute of the day. It was quite the opposite. My plug lived in the same city. He was mobile almost every day, and he would serve me any hour of every day. So this day was quite usual. I went to school and I got out of school. Nothing really remarkable at school. All I really did at school at this time was smoke weed and do Xans. This day I didn't have any Xans, but I did manage to hit a couple of my friends' carts throughout the day, which managed to keep me from tweaking. After I got out of school, I went home and I started plotting. Because I'm a raging drug addict, all I was thinking about all day was how I was going to get either one of two things, weed or Xanax. Now, judging by the title of this video, you could probably guess that I didn't get either of those things. Now, this is because we had a very different plan in mind today. Because pretty soon after I got home, my friend Vincent had hit me up. You guys know Vince from a couple other videos that I've made on this channel in the past. He's a very good friend of mine, still is to this day. Now, Vince is one of my favorite friends because this is the same kid who I did DXM in a Portasub's bathroom with. If that doesn't tell you anything about our friendship, then I don't know what will. But moving on, he comes over to my house later on during the night, fast forward a few hours, and he lets me know that he has some tabs of acid. Now at this point, my interest is piqued. My interest just summited Mount Everest. I had never done acid before. I had heard about acid. I had heard, extensively about it through, videos like, Goblins videos, and even like Young Psychonaut and Tales from the Trip. Those YouTubers had all kind of educated me on a basic level about acid, but I still lacked that firsthand experience with a real psychedelic. At this point, I had only had one shroom trip, which is a real psychedelic. However, I didn't trip that time. I only got some really light visuals and a slight body high. I didn't take enough at all. I totally underestimated how much I was supposed to take. So at this point, I really had next to no psychedelic experience, with exception to that one shroom trip. So he comes over, he says he's got a couple tabs of acid, and I give him some scissors. They were gel tabs. They were these blue and purple gel tabs. Some of them were blue and some of them were purple. There wasn't any specific difference between the two. It was just two separate batches that the plug gave us. But they were pyramids. They were these little gel pyramids with like gold flakes in them. They had like these, I don't know if it was like edible glitter or like just gold flakes. But whoever had made these gel tabs added a little decoration to them. I thought it was pretty cool. I held my flashlight up to it and it kind of sparkled. It was pretty dazzling. Um, so eventually, I talked to him about it. I'm like, "Where'd you get these?" And he says he got them from a plug that I know very well in the area. I used to cop my Zans off of him, and let me tell you right now, this guy used to sell Pharmaprams. Pharmaprams are a kind of Mexican brand Xanax that is brung over from Mexico, and they're hitters. They're hitters. He downgraded to Pressies a couple months after that, but the Pharmaprams were legendary. Anyway, we get back to the acid. He has these tabs cut up, and I pop one. Now, prior to this event, I had knew what a good tab was. I had knew how to identify a good tab, and this tab pretty much checked all the boxes. It wasn't too big, and it was small. It was the perfect size for a tab. I've had people say that they've had tabs larger than their fingernails, and that was N bomb. No tab that I have ever seen in my life has been larger than my fingernail. Not even like paper blotters. The gel tabs are usually smaller. Paper blotters are always going to be a little bigger, but even paper blotters have never reached the size of my fingernail. Now, we had already schemed to sell a few more of these just so he can make some of his money back for another re-up. So me, helping my friend out, I post on my Instagram story that I had some acid that I wanted to sell. And pretty much immediately, one of the lacrosse kids from my school, I can't remember his name, we'll call him Anthony. Anthony hits me up and he says he wants to buy 2 tabs. All right, bet. I have Callum split the 2 tabs while I grab the aluminum foil to pack it up for homie. And we basically, after that, we just march out the door. I put my jacket on, my big ski jacket, because it was like 28 degrees outside, and we get going. Now, it had stopped snowing by this point, but it was still cold as fuck, and there was also still snow on the ground. Luckily, I had my winter boots on, so I was able to keep my feet warm while I was walking in that. It wasn't deep snow, but it was enough to cover like at least the bottom, like half of my shoe. Which, if I was in regular shoes, it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been fun. All right. So we make it up the hill. It takes us about 10 minutes, and we meet him in the part of the suburbs in his neighborhood um, that he told us to meet us at. We did the deal. I charged him $20, or well, I didn't charge. It was Callum's acid, but he got charged $20, and that was $10 a tab, and for 200 UG, so that's pretty good. That's a good price. That's basically, I feel like that's the standard agreed upon price in the drug community. It is $10 a tab for a 200 UG dose on your tab. By this time, we start making our way out of the neighborhood and back to my apartment. Um, by this time, I had started getting that kind of effect when you're on psychedelics, where everything kind of looks slightly more 3D than it already is. It almost looks like the things are kind of, they have more depth to them a little bit. Especially for the first time you do psychedelics, you really notice that things start to look different and deeper. They look deeper. They have more depth. Now, by the time we had finished the deal, we weren't tripping. I was having fun because I started to kind of feel that body sensation, which I didn't know at the time was the acid. I thought I was just geeked, right? I thought I was just having fun. But it turned out to be the acid now that I have more experience. Um, but even once we got back, I had still not had a lot of visuals. Um, my friend, on the other hand, Vince, he was completely chilling. He never really gets visuals on acid, like super strong visuals, but he gets a really good body high. Now I get both. I'm not one of my friends that doesn't really get visuals like that, because I really enjoy the visuals in psychedelic trips. I feel like everyone does. Um, But once we get back to the house, I still had not gotten any visuals yet, so I was like, yo, Vince, let me get another tab. He gladly gives me another tab, and turns out this was the perfect dose. Um, 400 UG of acid for your first time can be hit or miss. But for me, this particular trip, oh, it was awesome. Um, Sooner or later, though, he had to leave, and after I popped my second tab down the hatch and let it dissolve on my tongue, um, boom, we're ready to go, man. He leaves, and I get on call with the girl I was talking to at the time. Let's call her Taylor. I feel like Taylor is a good name. Now, Taylor was on the phone. We were just shooting the shit. And sooner or later, I start getting these wicked visuals. Her head starts contorting and twisting inwards. It's like a wave effect has come over her head, and it's going in and out, in and out. And I was laughing at this. I was hysterically laughing at the fact that her head looked like a wave. Her head looked like one of those like a ball, like a stress ball. You know how you can kind of manipulate it? It looked like that. And pretty soon I got off the call, and this is where things started to get awesome. My vision, it was completely became engulfed in patterns, like kaleidoscopic, almost foreign patterns, like something I've never really seen in this world. I remember in my moment I was laying on my bed, and the visuals just started to engulf my vision, and I closed my eyes. I eventually decided to get my headphones. I had a pair of wired SteelSeries Arctis headphones. I think they were the Arctis 5 or 7 or something. They were a pair of SteelSeries headphones. I plug them into my computer and I play Too Many Nights by Don Tolliver. This song single handedly changed my entire trip. The synergy of the acid and the feelings that went along with the music, and every beat, every snare, every clap was echoey, and it was ethereal. Every function of the song, from Don's voice to Metro's beat, it created a separate feeling. It was basically euphoria. It was one of the most euphoric moments I've ever had. Um, the music appreciation on psychedelics is there's nothing else like it. Especially acid. Shrooms have great music appreciation, but acid, I love acid's music appreciation, and just its ability to make music sound even better to the human ear. Leave the Club by Metro Boomin and Don Tolliver was also a really great song. I didn't really like Glorilla's verse. I don't I don't really like her too much as an artist, but um I listened to that song, and Don's part was awesome. He did a number on that song, and during my acid trip it just elevated it. I remember when the song came on, the visuals were starting to increase. Essentially, I was starting to peak when I put this song on. So during my peak, I had this song playing and a few other songs playing over the course of the few hours that I was peaking. And honestly, to describe this trip in one word, it would just be profound. Um, I didn't eat. I mostly stayed in my room or anything. I don't think I really would have wanted to eat either. Um, but it was really just a basic trip. I didn't actually full on trip dick with my friend until probably around 6 months ago. Yeah, around 5 months ago now was the first time I fully tripped dick with Vince. The other times, really, he had to leave before I ever started fully tripping. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the first time I've uploaded in 10 months. I don't know why I let it get that long. It's been a while. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please like and subscribe if you want more videos like this one. This is Noxy. Love you guys.